Well, welcome. I think we're live. Thank you for coming today. As you know, thought I put out my thumbnail. I've got a couple of reasons for what I want to talk about emergencies today. I have to unlock my phone for a second because I'd like to have my YouTube there opened up. Uh, we're going to first say hi to everybody, talk about um, emergencies. I've got some really very good examples of issues that could happen while traveling. All right, first, let me say, and my voice for some reason is getting this hoarseness to it. I have no idea why. Let me get out of there. Out of there. Got to go to my own channel. I hope you're all doing good today. It is dreary here today, but that's all right. I live in Oregon. I know what's coming today. It is dreary. Turn it down. All right. So let's get with it. Let me see who's here. First, Hawkins Family Adventures. They are new friends to Butter, burning up the roads. I appreciate you coming in today. Kenneth, aka Ford Man, Kenneth Oakes. Thank you for coming, Kenny. Also, I can take these out. These are earbuds, okay? I would tell you a story about what I did, but it's a little too embarrassing because I will really look stupid if I tell you that I put that end in my ear, not that end. I was really frazzled. My son had just got these for me, and that end, it works really well. Can you hear me, by the way? I need to know that right off the bat. So hello to you new family members. We also have Lucky Dog Productions moderator, Sue. Thank you. Thank you for coming. And we also have Mobile Tech, new to me also. Thank you. Newer. Doreen from Camping Therapy. Thank you for coming. Let's go down here. All right. So if you don't mind getting the thumbs up finished off the bat, I'd appreciate it. And if you would like to share this out, please do. We can get some more people in. All right. So hello to everybody. Camping 30 just time. Larry, I'm not even wired at home. I'm strictly Wi-Fi at home. Okay. So conversation between you two. That's cool. All right. So this is a big topic. I may break this down into a couple different shows. I'm not sure. I may do this live stream and then do, instead of another live stream about it, do a video. Guess what? I can do a video. All right. So, a couple things really hit me about this. What made me start thinking about it? I watch a couple of, watch tons of different venues, different content creators. And I've got a couple things to share from content creators, but there's a lot of talk always about fair use content. How can we use it? I did find out, I want to just clarify this. This is for my own self, for my own self be true. I want to show you a little video that I've got about that. It might help somebody. It just might help somebody. All right. Share. Fair use. This is a little clip on fair use.
Fair use allows you to reuse copyright.
Oops. I have to take this off of my, oh gosh, can't think of the name, but Apparently I'm having Bluetooth. I don't want it on Bluetooth. Bluetooth needs to go off because of what I'm going to share a few things. So, all right, let's see if this worked.
Protected material under certain circumstances without getting permission from the copyright owner. Fair use is an exception to copyright law and is not determined by YouTube. Let me say that again. YouTube does not decide what is fair use and what isn't. Only the court can do that. What counts as fair use? Different countries have different rules about when it's okay to use material without the copyright owner's permission. In some countries, it's not even called fair use. For example, in the UK, it's referred to as fair dealing. Aside from what your country calls it, courts usually focus on whether your use of another person's song or video is transformative. Basically, they're asking if you added new expression or meaning to the original work, or if it basically copies the original. For example, in the US, content that might be considered fair use includes commentary, criticism, or news reporting.
All right, so my intent is for reporting of this. I found that people have lots of different opinions about that. What is fair use? I heard you can only use 10 seconds or 30 seconds or just a little teeny tiny clip. So I'm using it for the intention of informing people. And I thought maybe one of you or two of you who are content creators like myself didn't know exactly how to identify that. So I'm laying the foundation for that. Box Van D, hello, thank you for coming today, D. I appreciate it. All right, so one of the people that I follow, Liz Amazing, this should actually tell you why I'm sharing this. There we go.
What would you do if you got injured on the road and you could no longer travel? That's every RVer's biggest fear. Well, I am living my worst nightmare right now.
All right, so even someone who is experienced like her, she has been full-time for, I believe, 3 years. Things happen. And I've watched another video of hers where she, well, and that one, but where she tries to go through and do the things she needs to do in her RV. What would I do if I were alone? What would you do? I don't know how you camp, how you travel. We each do it differently. But Victoria May Life Unfiltered, thank you for coming. And my sister Priscilla, my little sister Priscilla, hello. So it made me think. When I was in Quartzsite, Richard and I were in Quartzsite this year. We were there from middle of January to the middle of March, approximately. And I am supposed to use a walker because of my mobility disability. And so instead of using my walker, there were some people there, wanted to say hi to me. I came out of my RV, my walker is off to the right. And I thought, I'm going to look like an idiot using my walker. I did. I swear to God. And that's one of the most foolish thoughts I've ever had, I think, because it does provide me stability when I'm walking on uneven ground. And it actually is an aid to be able to live a life rather than sit at home. So in my best thinking, I passed it up and I walked out there. It was only like 30 feet from my door. I should be able to walk 30 feet without falling. So I'm standing there talking and I'm rolling, I'm moving my feet around and I rolled my left foot over the top of kind of a round rock. And the rest was history. Boom, down I went. And it was all the things I had known it would be if it ever happened. I was totally embarrassed. I felt shame. I felt stupid for not using my walker, and I know I'm not stupid, so I don't bad talk myself. I think it's one of the most dangerous things to do. But that's what happened. And I ended up on the ground. And Richard, went and got me these little pillows because, by the way, quartzite has the name quartzite for a reason. It's rocks, people. If you've never been, it's rocks. It's a lot of rocks. And so from there forward, my understanding is you can get a copyright strike or warning for use the own material for even 10 seconds, but I could be wrong. What she goes on to say, and I really should have finished more of that, is that we're supposed to cite that person, their work. So thank you for reminding me, Dee. I'm going to be citing this at the end of my video on the introduction page. And if I get a copyright strike, I'll let you know, because I'm going to use a couple different ones today. An idiot every time I make a mistake. I'm going to be in trouble if I do that, because I was made for making mistakes. And so I got up. It wasn't easy. I got up and I used my walker every time I came out of my RV from there forward. Unfortunately, for that particular trip, that was like on the second day I was there, by the way. So I had almost 7 weeks of fear of going outside and falling again. I got through it, and I did go out, and I got some time outside. It was beautiful. So she was the first situation that made me think about this. And then I started kind of looking around the community and seeing how many people had been injured or gotten very, very ill on the road. Hello, Catherine Cook. Thank you for coming. I'm glad you're here, and you're not late at all. YouTube has a catch it though. YouTube, well, and they might, I don't know. I've been on YouTube since its inception, before Google owned it. So over 14 years. Wow. So I was looking at other people who had been injured, and it really hit me when I was listening to her the other day, listening to the video by Liz Amazing. And if someone would not mind dropping her link for me, I would appreciate it. And I'm also sending her a copy of this live stream. I'm just going to let her know that I used some of her content for the intention of instruction. And so I got up, blessed myself off, and here I am today looking at those kind of things in retrospect. And injuries and illness on the road. I went to two separate emergency rooms. I went to one in Blythe to start with because it was closest. It's about 15 miles, I believe, from Quartzsite. And then I saw them doing some things I felt uncomfortable with relative to, we were in the midst of the COVID pandemic. And they were leaving one pin for everybody to sign in with. And there was no sanitization of the pen. I watched her, and the woman in charge was not cleaning the pen, and there was no sanitizing pump out on the front counter, so we couldn't use the pen and then go clean it. So anyways, I left. I'm like, I really don't want to get sick. And so we left. We came back home to Quartzsite. I still call it home. We came back home to Quartzsite, and it got the pain in. So I landed on my left shoulder. It was very painful. It still is. And thank you, Sue, very, very much. Thank you for that. So we then, in turn, a couple days later, we went to Parker, Arizona, which is about 45-minute drive from where we were at in Quartzsite. And they did an x-ray. There was nothing broken. So I have a complication in that I have to take blood thinners. And because I have had 7 blood clots in my right leg because of a problem after a surgery. And so I'm on a blood thinner, and I'm prone to bleeds. So they had to do all kinds of things to make sure I was safe to leave the hospital. which I did. I got to leave and go back. I just had to wait out the pain. It messed with me bad. So I have heard other stories about people on the road. Some people have insurance, some people do not, and that's just a personal decision. So today, so when I was thinking about injuries and illness, I'm going to show you a little clip. It's everything turns out fine. It's a just upfront. So don't be concerned about the animal. So a foolish person driving through a bison enclosure rolled their window down. And here's what happened as a result.
Taking Sunday, showing a bison stuck head first in a small car.
I was thinking, like, somebody gonna get hurt for sure.
Now, the bison is fine. It did not get injured. It's back in its enclosure. And I thought, how many stupid people get hurt like myself, foolish people. I'll just excuse the word stupid, please. I won't use it again. Foolish people who take things for granted, or we're our own worst enemy, like rolling the window down for the bison to come and get a carrot from me. I think I'm not that person, but if it looked really sweet, I'm not sure. So there has to be protection for people like me from myself. Monty Golgo, Tilko Monty, thank you for coming. So there's, as we know, many different reasons people get injured, people get sick. And then as I was listening to other, I'm going to give you one more piece of information from Liz that really said, Lucretia, you got to talk about this subject a little bit more and get some resources and some options for people. So once again, Liz gave me grist for the mill as I was thinking. She beat me on ERs.
And we're facing a medical crisis now. We're on day 8. And
yeah, ironically, you had just said the day before, imagine if one of us was incapacitated.
Each of us is one injury away of being a burden on the other.
So what happened to Liz is she fell, or she was getting something out of a bottom drawer. She's there in a nice big, I always forget the name of these. It is it's not a travel trailer. It's the kind that hooks up inside the back. I know it. It's right there, I promise. And so she's in a big space. It's not like she's crunched up and trying to, bend over to get to something. She went to get something out of a bottom drawer, and they could hear and she could feel a pop in her back. And I could tell you from having had 12 or 13 back surgeries in the last 11 years, I heard that sound before, and it's not a good sound. And so they hung out. She went to 4 different emergency rooms. She was completely incapacitated. And Paul was able to step up and do everything, not just for her, but for the RV when they had to move around from place to place. Fifth Wheel, Mobile Tech, thank you so much. You might be my new best friend. So she has an injury where her spine is being compressed. She finally, at one of the ERs, had, because they want to just give you medicine up front, which is generally, that's not too bad, but she was in agony, at times screaming into the pillow, sobbing into the pillow. And I know that feeling, and it does not just go away. And so, again, Liz's living example reminds me again of making sure that we are, where we should start. All right. So I've got to get rid of a couple things here. All right. So there can be injuries and there can be illness. And we know that there are emergency rooms all over this country, but there is a problem. And we've had that very problem in my hometown. We have a regional hospital, a massive hospital called Riverbend. And it's like 10, 12 years old. It's not very old. And it's huge. It's a monster campus. And we, yeah, Priscilla, I'm with you on that. My little sister and I are both huge animal lovers. It did not hurt that animal, but they were so stupid. What if, it did damage her car, massive damage. That's a whole different insurance, but she suffered, because of that. Hello, George. Glad you're here. Hope you're feeling good, having a good day. And so, anyways, figuring out what kind of things we have to have coverage for. And let me, before I talk about that, so there is a whole other insurance, and I was watching Paula I was watching Paula last night, and or Saturday. My voice is going. I'm not sure what's going on. Talking about traveling from Canada, Van Vita travels from Canada to the United States this year. It is opening up. And so I thought I would check that out too, because she's looking at getting travel insurance. And so there is a lot of different travel insurance as well. So here you can have travel insurance, of course, for health, for the delay of your travel, types of travel delays, time frames of coverage matters, trip cancellation options. There is also, if you have to be evacuated due to an emergency situation in another country, let's say a war breaks out. You're in Timbuktu and a war breaks out. You need to be taken out. You can't actually use your RV to get out, because I follow a couple different people who travel internationally, and there is the possibility of problems. So knowing, I checked this particular site out, and there's lots of plans, lots of coverage. You can actually get a quote and find out if your trip, how much it would cost you. And because I took for granted, being in this country when I was in quartzsite, that everything would be okay. And as I found out, it was not okay. I actually, Backroads Nomad, welcome. Actually, the insurance I have, I'm on Social Security disability, but there's two different types, and I am on SSI because I was working at the time. I was an independent contractor, and because of a technicality, I did not get full lifetime disability. I got SSI, which is less money, and you don't get options of insurance. There is Medicaid, which I've had great coverage as far as being here in my home state, in my hometown. I have a great doctor, great cardiologist, all the doctors I need, my neurosurgeon. I've never been denied those things in Oregon. However, my insurance did not cover my medications that I needed while I was in quartzsite. So I eventually had to have my son send that through the mail. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm a little uncomfortable sending drugs through the mail. But I needed the medication. It was no pain medicine. I don't take anything like that. It's just regular, like some high blood pressure medicine or thyroid medicine. Yeah, that kind of medicine. So he had to start sending me that through the mail. So Liz, I'm not sure where she's at now, but I believe she is. I know she's from the South somewhere. Oh, me, I am not in Florida. I am in Oregon. So my channel is based out of Oregon. My home base is in Eugene, Oregon. And so that's where I'm at right now. So trying to figure out how to piece together all the kind of things that I need in order to be safe while I travel. One of the things I use is my my doctor who manages one of my illnesses. I have to wear one of these I can get it in a bracelet or in a necklace. I chose a necklace, and on the back, I won't really show it well. On the back is the problem that is life threatening to me. If I'm found unconscious, there's a medication for them to give me, and it gives 2 different emergency phone numbers. But be certain of the numbers you put in when you type it in, because I made a mistake on one phone number. Oh, you're in Oregon too? OHP? If you're on OHP in Oregon, you should be able to get a dental extraction. I have had dental extractions. Not recently, but in a few years back, I had to have one. Potential creature from Burn Up the Roads is on screen doing the live. She is from Oregon. I am Sue from Lucky Dog. Okay, Sue's from Florida. So hope that helps straighten things out. So traveling, did not have ability to get the medication I needed other than through the mail. So be certain, if you live in Wisconsin, and make certain before you hit the road that you know that you have your insurance will cover what it will cover, what it won't cover. Will it cover you get, like get really sick and you have to go to the emergency room? Under what conditions can you go to the emergency room and have your insurance cover that? Also, like I've already said, emergency extractions if you're in another country and a war breaks out and you literally cannot get out any other way. There are resources for that as well. I want to share that. Planning ahead. Planning ahead for disasters is imperative. Wait. I need to go back in here. What did I do wrong? All right. I want to share the screen. Chrome. There we go. All right. So whether we're traveling abroad or we're traveling in our own country, we need to be prepared for things. If I'm going to a place that is prone to let's say hurricanes, knowing what resources you have and how quickly you could evacuate. Do you get emergency alerts? I do get emergency alerts. It's part of what I really believe in, emergency alerts, because I want to know what's going on. If you have children, what do you have for them? What's their insurance? Is it going to cover things? If you're in a lightning storm, if you're in an RV or you're in a tent, how will you protect yourself? Making sure you get vaccinated if you're of that mind. I'm not telling you to get vaccinated. It's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you so are inclined to get vaccinated, make sure they're up to date. And I have been vaccinated for everything under the sun. I have been vaccinated since I was a child for everything under the sun. And so I want to make sure, to the best of my ability, that I am covered there. And by the way, going out of country, there may be some absolute requirements. And I'm sure a checklist, finding an appropriate checklist, which I know there is for international travel, would be a good idea. One of the things, so emergency alerts, making a plan, be prepared, make an emergency plan today and practice it. So let's say you're going to be in Quartzsite for the season, which is kind of like starting now and goes till like March, I think. Okay, thank you so much. I was just informed I frowned a lot. My son, who is my stage manager, just informed me I've been frowning. I'm not frowning intentionally. This is to me more of an important subject, and I do goof around and have fun a lot more than apparently I am today. So I will smile more. So making that plan, and part of that plan for me when we're traveling, I'm working on this binder. I have like 100 of these from when I went to college 10 years ago. I was proud of the work I did, so I kept them. So in that binder is going to be a list of who each of us are, and who each of us are, and each of us are, and what our conditions are that we receive treatment for, and emergency instructions. Like, what if we had an accident? What if we had an accident and we were both unconscious? Luckily, Richard is pretty dang healthy. Overall, I'm healthy. I have a couple of things that cause more risk than others. And so that's why I'm wearing this little gadget right here. So we're going to have those kind of that in here. The list of medications each of us takes, and anything it seems like they might need to know. Trust me. People need to quit believing the BS the government is propagating about the vaccine. It is not good for humans. It's human rat poison. So, you know what? I understand there is very much that belief, and I understand that. I am more, to be honest, I could have chose to use it, chose to get vaccinated or not. It wasn't a big deal for me. Okay, it's just how it was. I didn't feel a big urge, but a member of my family was terrified of getting sick because her husband was deathly ill. He had open heart surgery and was very compromised, and she herself has some compromising issues. And so thank you, Doreen. So I Van Life with Gina. Hi, Gina. Thank you for coming. Glad you're here. And so I was like, I met with my doctor for something else, and I said, hey, and I'm only going to share this just because this came up. I said, hey, you know what? And this lady is one smart cookie, by the way. Been in practice a long time, and so she is just a really intuitive person as well. And I told her, you know, I don't think I'll get sick. I said, even if I got sick, my honest gut feeling is I don't think I'm going to die from it. Okay, I've always been a little too arrogant for my own good, but I just didn't feel like I would die from it. And we talked a little about that. And I said, you know, if I get sick, I get sick, and I may get, I get the flu. So, however, when I get the flu, and I have gotten the flu shot forever, I have no recollection of not getting a flu shot. And I've never had a problem with that. And I realize this is a little different. But so anyway, she and I talked about it, and she said, Lucretia, I'm not going to tell you you have to get that shot. And she said, but I do want you to know. And she said, she used the word probably. She said, you probably would not die from it. However, I want you to know, I know personally friends of mine who had not one single underlying condition. They were very healthy people. They got it, and they got deathly ill from it. And she said, but you might be one of the people who doesn't, because it's such a novel. That's why it's called a novel coronavirus, because coronavirus has been around, but it's such a novel illness that they just don't know much. They just don't know much. So Priscilla, yes, Colin Powell died today. and I think most everybody may know about it, but General Colin Powell died today, and he was fully vaccinated. And he had an underlying condition. And just like with any vaccination, I hate this going into this so in depth because this was not my intent. So, following the yellow brick road, thank you for coming. Very happy you're here. All right, let me see what's going on. So it is something. So Backroads, it is something that there are people who have good evidence. That there's two sides to this. Well, the left side of my heart does not work, and I have COPD. So think what you want, your choice. All right. So people, it would be helpful. So having people yelling at each other, and saying negative things about people is exactly, in my opinion, why this COVID situation is so, it's such a mess. I don't know for sure that it's good, but I'm telling you, I had watched my mother die. My mother died from suffocation because she had COPD. I watched a sister die literally on her deathbed suffering from suffocation because she has COPD. Okay, my little sister has she's not as ill with her COPD, but she has COPD and she can't afford for it to get any worse. So all of us, I made a decision based on my own conscience because it ain't just about me. For me, it is also about my neighbor. I am my neighbor's keeper to some degree. If I know that I could get you sick, do you honestly think I couldn't do that? And I would not be able to live with myself very well knowing, hey, I didn't get sick from it because I'm such an arrogant asshole but I took it to you. I took it to you and got you sick. All right. So that's why I got the vaccination. So thank you, Yellow Brick Road. I do appreciate that. Because paranoid kills a lot of folks. Bottom line, I'm out. Okay. And yes. And there has been thousands and thousands of deaths. I'm saying simply from my own conscience. I can't speak for anybody else. I get vaccinated for these things, whether it's the COVID vaccination or it is my the flu shot. All right, so anyway, I have to say that I really did not see this coming. Arvine Grandma, former CDC director, is advisor to the governor of Maryland. He says today 40% of COVID deaths are people who are fully vaccinated. Wow. 40% are fully vaccinated. Former CDC director says 40% of COVID deaths are people who are fully vaccinated. Joy Blessed Life. Hi, Joy. Thank you so much for coming. So that in, let's see, what state was that? Everyone against the vax. She's where I got the term human rat poison. Me or somebody else? Dr. Redfield. And so I've had the flu shot. Let me go back to the flu because I'm just going to say this one more time. And then I want to move past this for now. But I'm telling you at the end of this video, I'm starting a new channel, a separate channel. And that way people who really can't have a conversation without criticizing other people for what they believe to be right, what their conscience tells them to be right, where those people can come together and have conversations from both sides of the aisle on many topics. So I'll talk a bit about that afterwards. Thank you. So anyways, I'm a little flustered right now. Just a little flustered. I just spoke with my best friend, my BFF, and her mother, who's in her 80s, got it and is fine, you know. And there's no way to tell. The 15-year-old girl who got it, who died from it in 4 days, she's not fine, and she deserved to live. She was an athlete. She was in perfect physical condition, and her parents had no way to explain, neither did the doctors, why this particular illness is going to take your life, young lady. Yes. Bye, Dee. Thank you for stopping in. So anyways, it's all about individual choice. Yes, as is everything. Absolutely. Okay, so let me look at my up here. So in the travel process, when I'm traveling around, before the most recent time, you could pretty much go to any emergency room and get back roads. I am a very defiant person by nature, completely a defiant person. I believe I make my choices for me, and I have a conscience about those choices, whatever they may be. So I understand being defiant about things. But I have done a lot of research, and I could tell you both sides of this. There is people who make sense and people who make no sense. And there's people who right square in the middle of this I don't trust. And they're some of the people, and I don't trust, but other people around them I trust. All right, I need to get back to this. Now I know how Karen's RV life feels when she feels completely attacked by everybody, but not on a live stream. All right, so here's a little story from Montana. I'm going to share this story from Montana. Go to share. Thank you for staying, Priscilla. We're just going to move past this the best that we can. Getting care on the road is not always a given. So I get an RV travel magazine called rvtravel.com every day, or you can also get it just on weekends. Here is a story. I'm going to share a little bit. I'm going to make sure it's being seen. Yep, there it is. So they're talking about Montana. This fellow, the father of a family from Colstrip, a small town about 155 miles east of Billings, was turned away from both Billings hospitals, when he needed emergency surgery for a perforated bowel. Turned away. And you want to know why that is? Because of the emergency beds, they have to have a certain amount of beds available for emergencies post-surgery, because you may need life support for a period of time. You may need to be intubated. You may need specialized care that comes. I've been in ICU. I was an ICU patient for 4 days after a hospital screwed up and gave me too much pain medicine and overdosed me to the point of needing to be resuscitated. So, and there was a nurse assigned to my bed 24/7 for those 4 days. So this person was turned away from Billings. His wife also tried Helena, Bozeman, and Kalispell. All major hospitals in the state said they weren't in a position to help because of overflowing patient counts due to COVID. So I would have to say anybody who tries to deny that it's out there is not looking at what's happening in individual hospitals. Here in my hometown, I started to tell you, we have a gigantic hospital that wasn't taking people. I can't get the back surgery I need, my second back surgery, because it is full. So they ended up going to Cody, Wyoming, to a small hospital that was able to take them. But regionally, you have to know. So if you're going to stay in, if I'm going to go stay in an area for a while, whether it's Quartzsite, or it's Montana, or it's California, or it's Chicago. No, not Chicago, or Florida. I'm going to now be taking a look at the what's going on in those areas for hospital, because guess what? I needed a hospital. I needed an emergency room. So, and most other states are struggling too. Like I said, my own hometown hospital, Riverbend, which is a massive hospital, was not available. Has had times of not being available. I also recommend that you check into rvtravel.com. It gives great information. And remembering to just make sure that we check where the hotspots are in the country, because there are hotspots. Justin, okay, hold on, Priscilla. We're moving away from that topic. We're moving away from that topic, and but that's a very good. But there's perfectly. They don't really know why back roads. That's what's going to take years to figure out, in my unmedicalized opinion. It's an opinion. It's going to take a long time to figure that out. Okay, most recovered, but some have died. I know many who have had flu, COVID, cancer, heart disease, etc. Most recovered, but some have died. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Following Yellowbrick Road. Hello to Victoria. So local hospitals are down to 12% ICU beds with COVID. Yes, so that's what I'm trying to get at, is that it has created an issue with our local hospitals. We actually have two fairly good hospitals here in the region, in Eugene, Springfield region, and both of them were having the same. I don't feel attacked by you, back roads. I'm not attacking you, burning up the roads. I have been outlandishly attacked for months due to my choice to live free and from lies perpetrated by the clown show in Washington, D.C. So I do want you to know something, and I absolutely respect your knowledge of your backwoods knowledge. I respect you as a human being. So I have to tell you, though, that it's disheartening. Whether I like politically somebody or not, I know that I'm only adding to the problem. I'm just saying, for me, Backroads, if I went on a live stream and I said I referred to the clown show in Washington, D.C. currently, I know what, it just doesn't add to helping people bridge this horrible, ugly divide. That's what bothers me, okay? Not your opinion, okay? Because I'm a grown-up. I can do my own research and research on both sides. So, Najraqui, hello. So being certain that I figure out where I'm going, what's available in an emergency, like I needed. Next time I will be more educated. I'm glad you're here, Najraqui. And so let's see. And remember, I'm so sorry, Gina. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I haven't been able to bring it under control. So, and on your side too, Priscilla, we've talked about the ability to drop the rope. There's people that I wholeheartedly disagree with. I intentionally do not pick that rope up. I just don't do it, because I know me, and I'm going to go into war. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I enjoy people too much. I think so sad there's such a battle now between vax and non-vax. I know people that won't talk to me because I am not. I have never done vaccines. I respect that. I do respect that. I don't even, so for myself, I have no negative feeling against people who won't get it. If they have a true, genuine belief against vaccines, I do. I very much empathize, and I would never say someone is bad or wrong for not getting it. I may think that's not for me. I needed to get it for many, a couple reasons. And eventually I felt like, hey, I don't want to get sick. And I also know it's always rolling the dice because no vaccine covers you 100%. People die all the time there's like, 50,000 deaths a year or something like that due to the flu. And people who get the shots, the flu vaccinations, die sometimes. That's because it's the same problem. You can't cover everything. You can cover the majority, but you can't cover everything. So, okay. I didn't see that, Priscilla, and I did not see that. I've just surfacely read over what caused his death. I know it was due to COVID. That's what the reporting has been, that it was due to COVID. I don't know any reporting otherwise. He had the vaccination and he died. I'm not okay. I agree that the Fedzilla can be a problem. Totally agree. And calling people sheep, it does not help. But again, if your message isn't about trying to help people understand something, then they're sheep. All right. So, all right, Vicky. All right. So I also found another nice tool when I'm on the road and I don't know what to do. There's a way, certainly I could go to emergency room. Maybe I don't know where the emergency room is, and I'm with people who don't know where the emergency room is. Here we go. There is a, make sure it's showing up. So you can find county health clinics. This tool helps you find county health clinics on the CDC's website. And I have them as a resource always, and I'm going to put them down as a resource. Travel medicine clinics. If you're visiting out of the country, figuring out how you need to deal with existing conditions, pre-existing conditions. I didn't know yellow fever was still a big deal. That was news to me. Knowing what country you're going to travel to. So I watch a couple who are traveling. They're doing an 8-year worldwide travel in their nice, beautiful Sprinter van. Beautiful, the biggest one they can get. And it is beautiful, wonderful vehicle with their cat. They have 1 or 2 cats. And she was considering getting her a new knee in, I'm going to just throw out a country like down in Venezuela or one of the countries in that part of the world. And she actually was referred to a clinic there, went there, checked him out, did not end up getting her knee replacement done there. I know what a knee replacement is like. I had both of mine done about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. I did one at a time. Richard has had his as well, both knees at one time. So, so I know the concerns when you're having a knee replacement. If you're already abroad and when you need a doctor, there's a way to find healthcare providers there. Where's the nearest embassy or consulate? Department of State as a constant medical evacuation insurance providers. See, it never dawned on me. I'm sure this couple was smart enough to take care of these things. I really wouldn't probably have thought about it, and I would have got stuck somewhere and been without a doctor and been in trouble. So these are other countries with travel related medicine websites. So I'm going to put this as a reference below as well. All right, so let's see. You can find opinions. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So I need to see what time it is because I want to make sure I tell you about what I'm getting ready to start. Thank you, Priscilla. I love you too. Priscilla is my best friend. She's my little sister and she is my best friend. I was a horrible big sister. Thank you, Justin and Christina. Thank you for coming. Priscilla, thank you. She's my best friend. I give my little sister a lot of leeway in my life because I sucked as a big sister when we were growing up. I'm sorry it got on this topic, Shirley. I really am so sorry. I was hoping to just go right over it because I was talking about when we're traveling, we need to make sure we have our bases covered for if you have previous conditions, if you need immunizations, brought up to date on immunizations. My intention was not for it to get to this level of conversation. So I apologize for not being able to get it back under control quicker. So planning ahead for disasters and for illness and injuries is key. It is key. And that website is ready.gov. And I'm going to put this, I'm going to share it one more time, and then I'm going to put it in the link. So if anybody is interested in that, they can, they can look at it. It's a good resource. Plan ahead for disasters. This is what I was referring to earlier, including natural disasters, illnesses, and different resources there. Making a kit, build a supply kit, a supply list. So this could be done on the road as well, obviously, because that's where we live, is in our RVs. I remember looking when we were getting ready to leave, I wanted to make sure we had a good emergency first aid kit. Excuse me. Yeah, there. I just want to make sure I was still there. I wanted to make sure I had a good emergency first aid kit, including antibiotic stuff. I had some antibiotics I brought along, Band-Aids, just everything I could think of. And I think that I probably am going to do a little video on that separate because that's an important. Making sure we have enough water, food, lighting, first aid kit, extra batteries, a whistle, a dust mask. Look when 9/11 happened, when the trade towers fell, or the so when the trade towers came down, World Trade Centers came down, all of that dust that we saw on video, it was horrible. I can only imagine how many people have died because of that, because who knows, you know, all the things in that. A local map. So here we go. I will share my ignorance one more time, and hopefully somebody will laugh. So when we were planning to go to Quartzsite, the only thing Adventures in Hosanna do, welcome, so glad you're here. I don't know why you can't moderate from your phone, Doreen. So sorry. You know what, Victoria, that's unfortunate. You know, it's one of the problems, you know, with this discussion, but we'll come back to what I'm going to start. This really solidifies what I'm going to do. It's, you know, Priscilla, we all I should have done something. I'm going to rewatch this, I could tell you, and I'm going to look at where I should have stopped it. Not the opinion, because some people get opinions, but where I should have probably just drawn the line and said, we need to stop the conversation, and I should have moved on differently. So I'm going to use this kind of like a football team the day after they lose insanely to another team. And I lost out to dissension. And that's what I'm going to look at it for, is where, as the team captain, I dropped the ball. Anyways, local map, what I did not do. So what I thought, I was just wanted to get to California. I wanted to get to Quartzsite. I just wanted to get there. Y'all know I was supposed to have a tour with Bob Wells of my RV, which I didn't make. I did call and tell him, I'm sorry, I cannot drive any faster. That's my first time driving an RV. I'm the sole driver. And I was, a day late and $1 short. So I didn't get that interview. Anyway, I was in Quartzsite. And here we go again. This has really got me flustered. So I didn't use a map until I was in crisis. And my little sister is the one who was able to, because she's normally the emotional crisis person. But my little sister, Priscilla, right here, she got me out of crisis. I was hysterical. We were somewhere around Sacramento, I believe. And I was somewhere around there. It was nighttime. It was pouring rain. I was tired. I drove for 11 and a half hours that day, and to push to get to see Bob, meet Bob, get the RV thing done. And I became hysterical. I did take that down because I'm going to turn that into a teaching tool someday when I have the guts to go look at it and fix it to a tool. But I completely melted down, hysterical. I didn't know where I was. I was beside myself with fear. Richard was no help because he was helpful. He actually recognized if he came at me with what to do, I was going to be in a worse situation. And by the way, the drivers in California, they drive about 90 to 100 miles an hour on the average, I figured out. And I was in this RV. I was afraid of driving faster than 45 or 50 in the rain. And so I pulled off, and she talked me off of the ledge. So had I had a map planning this trip out, it would not have happened. Things would not have gone down the way they did. And so, yeah, Vicki, it's hard. I understand it's hard. So she and I talked, and I literally knew where I was. So she reminded me, you literally know where you're at. You are in Sacramento somewhere. And so just look for some street signs. And I had lots of people trying to help us out. And we left our navigation to other people. And not that they weren't trying to do the best they could. It wasn't their job, by the way. It was our job to know where we were going, how we were getting there, all the routes, what the potential problems were. And I very soon ended up getting an atlas. I didn't have a map with me, honest to God. In my mind, you go to Southern California and you make a left somewhere, get on a major road going east. It just was what it was. I was terrified, and it was all bad things going on right then. And so I allowed other people to navigate. So I got a lot of different options. And when I'm in crisis, and I'll just say, use the me word, when I'm in crisis, I can get so afraid that I physically black out. I've had physical blackout when I was in bad enough trauma once. I was much younger. I was a child. I was 12 years old, and I ended up in a complete blackout, emotional blackout. I didn't want that to happen. So I got off the road. So just so I'm clear, because I got the vaccine, you would like me to unsubscribe from your channel? Just clarify that for me. And I'm pro-choice on all vaccine, on all medical conditions. If you have a medical condition, let me back up my wording about being pro-choice. If you have a medical condition and you want to treat it or you don't want to treat it, that's your thing. I would never tell you, Backroads, not to get the vaccine. I would never think I'm that arrogant or that I know more than anybody else or that I know more than you. I wouldn't tell you what to do with your body in that regard. So just clarify for me if because I got the vaccine and I'm okay with it, I don't know if that means I'm pro-vaccine or not. I'm pro doing what you think your conscience is telling you to do. That's what I'm pro. And if if you would prefer that I not be a friend of yours, I'll live. I really will. I still respect what you know from your Bushmaster stuff, bushcraft, whatever it's called. That won't stop me from respecting that about you. So I do have myself, I do have myself a nice big atlas now. However, I'm going to trim that down to one about this big. It's a big book size, but it's good, and it's got a binder to it. I'm getting one of those before going another trip. Used to plan your routes. I still use maps. Do not have a GPS device except maybe my phone. That's what I have too. I used to plan our routes when my husband was alive. Now I need to read it often since it's just me. So absolutely. When we came back, we kind of had we had a kind of a coming together about what we needed to do. And so we worked together on the route beforehand. And I will tell you, Catherine Cook is the one who got me into using my RV Google Earth. Also, there's another one as well. I have no maps, no atlas. I just use Google Maps. My car has a GPS built in. So there's always the possibility that the grid has a problem. And I know that that's real. So that's one of the reasons I feel more comfortable having a hard copy map. I feel more comfortable with that because there could be a time someday when the grid is down. I know that a lot of things were off grid the other day accidentally. I don't know how it happened, but if I was in the middle of a drive, an intricate drive, by the way, and I needed to get through a city, for instance, and everything went black, all technology went down, what would I do? I now necessarily have a Google, or excuse me, I have an atlas just for feeling safe. Yeah. Doreen, I have no maps, no atlas. I just use Google Maps. Oh, there we go. And good old-fashioned maps. Yes, I've now become really interested. When my nephew and his fiance were coming here from out of state, or they were going to Texas, I watched along the way. Computer Chick Productions. I keep an atlas in my car. Yep, it's a good idea. Priscilla, she mentioned how that family traveling back to San Francisco. Yes, this family traveling back to San Francisco, it's been a couple of years. We're using GPS and they got stuck in snow. This GPS map took them, and it happened to me one time. I was going someplace and the GPS map took Richard and I the middle of nowhere, and that map was that GPS was completely wrong. So and in that case of that family my little sister mentions, the man died. He tried to hike out for help and he died. And yes, you can download for free the maps. So another map system is called Waze, W-A-Z-E. And Boondocking with Boomer turned me on to that. Travel Dreamer 46, hello. I keep a hard copy map and use tech too. I can fail in many ways. Me too. If I'm going to a big city for a while, I actually pick up a city map. There you go. That's a really smart thing to do. And so I tell you, it does matter. So a backup for a backup. So I thought I knew what to do. My backup was my phone, Google kind of, or no, it was other people. And my backup to that turned out to be Google Maps and Waze, W-A-Z-E. And again, I am a pro. I'm pro on keeping a hard copy in my vehicles from now on. And I enjoy looking at the maps, by the way, to look at how the country is set up and how the grid of the interstate works. It's actually, I find it very interesting. When I was in college about 10 years ago, I was working on my bachelor's degree. Nope, it was when I was working on my master's degree in public health policy, which I did not get to finish. I only got a year into it because of my back. So anyways, I took a class on, was called Town Founding. It's how they founded the towns in this country, east to west. And it was so interesting to look at how towns were built and how they plotted them out. It was just a really cool class. I got a C+ in it. It was one of the hardest classes. It was an online class, and it was one of the hardest classes I ever took. And just because it was a master's degree level 400 class, I really had to work my butt off. So anyways, that's what we're going. I digress. Okay, so I've showed you about finding different things for travelers, travel news. Let me see if there was anything. Okay, so I want to tell you about another resource for travelers. I don't know if y'all know who Robert Witham is. Robert Witham has been full-time RV life nomad for years, a long time. And he's a really cool guy. I really enjoy him. He has a series called Travel News, where whenever there's something that pops up during the week, travel news wise, he does a video about it. I'm going to play this little clip here. This is really cute. This is really scary. Let me rephrase that. It's actually really scary to think that something like this could happen. But we'll listen to Robert for just a minute, because you need to pay attention we need to pay attention to what's around us. And Robert will explain real quickly why.
Several stories in the news recently about mountain lions making their way into neighborhoods, especially in Colorado. Welcome back to another travel news episode. I'm your host, Robert Witham. I'm a former newspaper journalist, but now report on travel news.
All right. So Robert Witham, Witham. And if somebody could find his link and drop it, I'm also going to put it in here as well in my notes, if you want to go back and check him out. But he has that whole series every week, a couple times a week. He followed the Gabby Petito murder and other things. Okay, good. You watch him too. He's just straightforward about the news. And being a former news person, I really appreciate that he's doing that. I did something on Thursdays for a while, but it was old news. Just kind of more of a fun thing, because people told me on my live stream they didn't want to watch the news. Hey, who am I to argue? And Cynthia Pollock. So I want to tell you before I end today's live stream, I really want to apologize. I know that in the long run, anything that happens on my channel is my job to moderate and to manage. And I allowed things to get out of control. And I do apologize for that. I was a little taken aback, and I'm not normally tongue-tied. And the last place you want to be tongue-tied is on your own live stream. May I take a drink of coffee? But I did, and I had some good people in here that left as a result. I don't even know which side they were on, but I would have left too, maybe. I would have left too. So I disdain the idea of sides when it comes to medical world. I really do not like that feeling, but it is what it is. So I want to tell you what I'm planning, and this just really reminded me of what I see. This I want this channel, Burning Up the Roads, is about life for us back and forth between travel. We've made one big travel. That's all we've been able to do because we had to come back home and have surgeries. Our plan is to go back out in March-ish. I'm assuming I will have my second surgery sometime in November. Richard will probably have his in December because he's still wearing a brace from his back surgery. Excuse me. And he has to be free of the brace before they'll do his neck. It's the same neurosurgeon. And he has to be free of that. So that's one more month. They will then schedule him for his neurosurgery, and I'm assuming it will be in December. And that will give us plenty of time for him to heal. November or December, January, February. So March, maybe the end of March, April. I don't know if we'll end up going to Quartzsite or not because it will be really hot by that time. But there's other places to go, people. And that's what this channel is about for me. However, real life is a part of it too. And we talked about things that brought issues up, and I know, I should have done something different. I'll figure it out though. I promise I will not let that happen again. All right. So, thank you for the good vibes. Thank you so much for good vibes. Thank you. I'm starting a second channel. I'm thinking of love you too, Ken. Thank you, Kenneth, for staying and for hanging in there during the frustrating time. Very appreciative of you. So I'm going to start a second channel, and it's going to be a topic. It's going to be more along the lines of news. What's in the news? What do you want to have your say about? What do you want to have your say about? And trusting that. So there we'll use some different skills I'm going to have to brush up on. But Travel to River 46, they coming to Michigan in September. We can't. 22. Oh, sure. See, planning that far ahead for me, that's a problem. But it's on my radar. So I'm going to be doing a couple things. One, so let me tell you about the second channel. Then you reminded me of something I want to share. So sorry you came in the middle. You were lost. Well, I was talking about travel issues and things we need to prepare for. And I brought up, obviously, making sure that you're vaccinated. I don't promote whatever you believe about vaccinations. I mentioned I got my COVID shot. I feel comfortable with that. I do feel comfortable with that. So, but maybe you don't, and I don't want you to be forced to get it either. And that is a strong belief. So you came into the middle of some problems between people. Gina, there were some people that left. I need to get a hold of them all. So anyways, I would love to come to that. I just have to plan for that. And I will come back to the second channel in a moment. I'm going to do you remind me, I need to do an activity calendar, for lack of a better word. When my dad was in a nursing home, they put out an activity calendar every month. What's going on Monday, Wednesday, Friday of this week, of the last week? What's going to happen in December? They're going to have the Christmas dinner on Christmas Eve, blah, blah, blah. I want to do a calendar like that that's on my channel, on my community tab. I want that community tab. I do post things. I want it to get more use than it's getting. More interaction. Always feel free to come there and comment on something. All right. So thank you, Shane, for coming. I appreciate it very much. for you being here. So I'm going to start a second channel. This I want to leave alone. I want this to be exactly what I'm talking about. Travel related stuff, interesting things, what we're doing, how we're getting prepared to get back out on the road. And that does include some more, some things medical. You know that we both have had surgery since we came back from court. We have to have each one more surgery before we can go back out on the road. I talk about being disabled, having other abilities, having a mobility disability. That's part of this channel because I want you to know that I'm also somebody who has issues, and here's how I overcome that. I will use my walker instead of be ignorant and fall on my face and break, harm my body. So Van Vita Travels, thank you so much for coming. I know you're going to be traveling, and you really prompted me. I was watching your show, but I was on my phone and I did not chime in at all. So I can't wait for you to come. Hopefully you'll come through Oregon. And so that's what I want this channel to be. My second channel, and that's what I need to talk to you, Paula, about. I think I need to ask a couple questions about the technicalities of starting a second channel. You don't have to come on here and do it if you don't want to. And, maybe other people don't want to listen to that. But if you wanted to, I'm going to drop a link. And if you don't want to, don't feel compelled. Because I'm just going to talk about the second channel. So what the second channel is going to be is about topic of conversation, about things that are going on in our country, whether it be regional, maybe somebody's in the Midwest and there's some stuff going on, or they don't understand something. I'm going to talk about those things that are generally not topics of conversation because people are afraid of the fight, the argument. I'm going to ask for some modest rules, such as please don't name call. Don't generalize the rest. I will never generalize people. I used to. So one of the reasons I'm doing this is because I used to be an asshole. Number one, self-centered, selfish, self-centeredness. That was my problem, not my alcoholism. But I learned that my problem was in part my drinking. But after I quit drinking, guess what I found out? I'm still an asshole. I have a tendency to want to control people, to tell people what's right and wrong, to be arrogant and selfish. And I have learned for the most part to let go of that. But see, I'm also not afraid of the fight. As long as we can have some rules about, you get to come on and you get to talk about, why do you think A, B, C, and D? And where's your, and by the way, where's your supporting documentation for that? And guess what? Someone else will get to come on and have their say. Because one of the issues, in my experience right now, what I'm watching is that people don't feel heard. There's a lot of people who feel like they're not being heard. And there's a lot of people who are afraid on one side or the other. I have two close friends that I love, both of them. And both of them are anti-vaccine. And let me count three. I love them. I don't disdain. I don't have any disregard for their decision. I don't. I respect that they intentionally have read and looked at things and they don't want to do it. Okay. And then I have full respect for the people who've also done stuff to check. I respect people on the other side. I'm not going to tell them that they are stupid or they're ignorant because they feel safe with the vaccine. I got it. I feel safe. And I know that's not everybody's cup of tea. And I assume that the people who that's not their cup of tea, they will probably not come to my channel. And I understand either side of this, a channel can take the hit. And people have been telling me, don't bring that subject up. You're going to have your throat cut, Lucretia. That's really, I've never been a coward. I've just never been that person who cowers in the corner. Actually, I manage an apartment complex, and there's a woman. I got a call from a lady. This will kind of tell you more about me. I got a call from a lady. Look, Lucretia, this young lady is in my house. She's covered in blood. Her face, she's been beaten up really bad. She's cowering behind a chair. I went to her apartment, and there was this poor, beautiful young woman cowering behind a chair. Her boyfriend had beaten her up. They were at the woman's mother's apartment, and he was very controlling with both of them. They had been staying there for a couple of weeks, and I didn't realize it. And so I was told he has a gun, and I stupidly, I'll use that word with myself, I did go confront him, and I got right in his face, and I said, pick on somebody who can defend themselves. I explained, my belief is you only pick on people who will never fight back. And I am not that person. And you're going to leave this apartment complex in one manner or another. And so I don't like bullies. And I've bullied. I was a bully. I disdain bullying. I'm ashamed of my old bullying. And so I don't bully people anymore. I do the best I can. I will tell you, sometimes I might. I don't mean to. And I want to be called on that every time I do it. If it feels like I'm bullying you guys, always say, Lucretia, I felt like you bullied me that day, or you bullied this person. Telling the whole story, leaving out important facts is just wrong. I agree, Priscilla. Naj, I got the vaccine, but I still wear my mask and stand up. See, and that's where I don't. I wear the mask where I'm supposed to. I will not violate the boundary of a business ever. But when I don't have, that's why there's some places I don't go to. But here in Eugene, Oregon, we're supposed to wear a mask when we're in a business. And so I do that. Because you know why? Even though I'm not so certain, I mean, I just have my questions about that. But guess what? What'll happen eventually is I'll end up in a fight with somebody, and it will come back and it will hurt me, and it will hurt my channel. And I enjoy you guys. I don't want to ever have to shut my channel down because I did something to harm it. Let's see. All right, Priscilla, I'll talk to you later. Sure. I will talk to you later. I'm just the same as Naj and Paula. Okay, so the other channel, I think I'm going to call it Chatting with Lucretia. Talking with Lucretia, maybe talking would sound more professional, and less chatty may seem like it's just a whimsical little thing. I want it to be a place where I can hear you tell me what you don't like. I can hear you tell me what you don't like about me and be okay, because I am fairly centered in myself. If I was that off balance, I shouldn't be talking publicly to anybody. If I can't hear this side or that side, and I have training in doing this, by the way. And so I love people, and I appreciate people telling what they think. And this, I really want it to stay about my travel channel, ideas about travel, where y'all are going. When Paula comes through Oregon, I hope you come through Oregon. And oh, my dog is starting to have a dream. And I you might pitch out to me in the comments after here what you think a new channel name of what I'm describing, a channel that its intention is to bring the lions together. I was raised by a lioness. She could have stood in front of the UN and whipped everybody into shape. That was my mama. On point with Lucretia. Oh, that's a good name. No, Backroads. On point, because that's the point. We want to be on point, talking about different things. And I will give. I know people from every side of the aisle, and I will keep my own. I probably will keep my own opinion out. I will keep my own opinion out about it, so that it's not nobody feels swayed. I mean, we now know I've got vaccinated, and I'm actually got the shingles too, by the way. I saw people who had shingles, my brother-in-laws, they were miserable. So Richard and I, as soon as we were late in our 50s, we got the shingles. So that's a very good idea. Let's have a conversation. Well, that's a good, the conversation. On Point or The Conversation? On Point with Lucretia or The Conversation with Lucretia? I don't know if that sounds right, but the Conversation sounds right. Okay, so that's true. And there'll be other things that I'm going to share. I actually, there's no reason I can't share it here. I also signed up for a different, one of my best friends, when he sees this, he's going to laugh his head off. Oh God. So I'm looking for it. It's an app. I just got an app. Let me find it for you guys. Well, Backroads, I guarantee you'll know this app. It's called Telegram. My BFF hooked me up with Telegram. And so I'm signed up on Telegram. From what I can see right now, it's more like, like Facebook in a way. That's what I kind of think. That's what I understand, Naj. On Point, okay, On Point, Real Conversations with Lucretia. Would that be too wordy for an On Point? Could be the name of the channel, Real Conversation with Lucretia, kind of the secondary. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But I have to tell you, I like that. I'm on Telegram, yes, and I've also looked at Telegram and Refined Nice Backroads Nomad. Get on Gab too. I never heard of Gab. Good golly. See, there people. I'll have to go. I'm going to be going back and looking at this anyways. So, Telegram is good. All right. All right. So, I don't expect any of you to want to come to a channel like that because I know that most people don't like conflict. My goal is to have these conversations with people and be able to talk to them. Good God, if I can't talk to somebody who disagrees with me or somebody who I agree with and not figure out how to have both sides present their information, I've wasted $120,000 on education. That's all I can say. $120,000 on an education to be a public policy analyst for health policy. And got halfway through it and had to quit because my back was just crumbling. I had already had one back surgery and was getting ready to have a very big one. So I had to leave school, and 10 or 11 surgeries later, I'm not going back. So I'm again running your playlist. So again, thank you so much for staying with me when things got tough. There's no app for Gab because it's bigtechgab.com. Okay. Yes, I need to go back to that. It looks like there are getting to be opinions out there beside YouTube that tries to restrict you. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And I don't like that either. And there's a travel channel that I follow, and I'm going to do this one last app, and I have forgot their names. They're a huge travel channel, though. By the way, they're huge. I wonder if it's Jeannie. No, that's my. I can watch people who come up to my door or go to my side yard or go in my backyard or go up to my, I can watch them in the street because weird stuff. I'm trying to find this app. They're on it. They're also on YouTube. And Minnie Van Lee was going to go to she went to that same new platform, but the people aren't there. That's one of the problems. Yes, so backing it up, I may need to talk to you Backroads eventually about how you do that. Because I truly don't. I am not techie at all. I did want to find that app though, because it was kind of fun. Oh, I know where to, gosh darn it. I actually have on my phone, I have an icon for anything to do with money that I have to deal with, whether different banking or whatever, so that they're all in one place. I have all my social media under one app as well. Let's see if I put it there. I did not, unfortunately, put it there. So I'm not going to waste your guys' time. So can you just give me a check? Just give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you would come, if you think that's a good idea. You don't have to commit yourself to coming to it, but do you think that kind of conversation could be had without, as I'm saying it, in the beginning, it would just be a conversation with somebody. And then as I got a feel for how it was going to be, the goal might even be to have each person come on and do their side of the conversation. And then let's talk about things that might help bridge gaps. Maybe there is a gap bridger. That's in human services, we definitely try to find, how do I get by your barrier? How do I get by that person's barrier? I've been in crisis situations with people, suicidal ideation crisis situations with people. And I learned a lot from how it was handled by people teaching me what to do. What is the barrier to this person being able to hear that this situation, we can figure this situation out? What's a barrier? Is it, most of the time it's fear of one thing or another. Anytime I am in, okay, I'm going to get, so in where I learned to quit drinking, the people I learned to quit drinking with were a lot older than me. I was 20 years old. I know it's hard to imagine somebody by the time they were 20 had had enough alcohol, but I had had enough alcohol. Other than a 6-month slip when I was 32. When I was 32, I was 12 years sober, and I slipped and made a decision to drink for 2 months, for 6 months. So anyways, that's a different story. But I was taught that there is an acronym, FEAR. And I'm not going to say the first word. I'm just going to say the first letter. F, everything, and run. That's what fear is for me. F, everything, and run. So, yeah, I get you, Doreen. I would never think I was going to look up and see camping therapy on that channel. And that's great. I understand. I will not see my little sister on that channel either. Most likely she doesn't really like conflict. Thank you, RV Grandma. Let's see if anybody else gave me an up or down. No. Okay. I don't drink or smoke weed or take drugs. Me neither. I take medications. I have opiates at my disposal if I need them for the pain, because there are times it'll be for days at level 8 to almost a 10. If I'm approaching surgery and I'm in very bad condition, I haven't taken any. When I had my last back surgery, I only took it for 2 days after I came home. So that's the reason I have some leftover stuff. I don't need it. I handle pain pretty well. Yeah, I don't do other stuff though, Vicky. It needs to be had, just like ground rules of respect. Yes, ground rules of respect. Back roads. I'd love to have you on. I'm telling you, I absolutely respect you. I respect you as, I mean, really, if the idea that we couldn't be friends over that would make me really sad, but I have a kid. So I went to college at 50. All right. I was 50 years old when I went to college. So, I was with all kids, and I got to be good friends with this young boy, who, let me see. I don't want to misstate this. We'd been friends on Facebook for a long time, and, for all this time. And then he found out, what did he find out about me? and he went crazy. And I absolutely adored this kid. I still do. And he messaged me and asked me to please remove him as a Facebook friend. They just, he blocked me. And we had never had a bad word. Everything was very kind, respectful. But once he found out, I think it was once he found out I was a Christian, I believe. And he was a gay young man who had very bad experience with his family in his small hometown when he came out as being gay. And one of the reasons I think that we connected is I have a gay son, and he's married, and they live here in my house. We're roommates. And so he couldn't accept that I was a Christian and I supported gay people. It's just the way it is. I mean, and I'm not, we can't be everything to all people, and that's okay. I don't like that, but it's okay. It's life. All right. Well, rather than keep rambling, he found out your politics. Yeah. You remember that? Because it's one of the things I actually cried. I did. I cried. That is wonderful. I am very happy for you and Back Rows both. Richard is pretty healthy. He just has to take a beta blocker, I think it is, for cholesterol. I think that's what it's called. And a couple of other things, but no, that's it. All right. So that's what I'm going to do. I am going to start the second channel. I'm going to find out how I actually do that, having this channel, the technicalities of it. I will get a whole new email address for that channel. I don't want to mix any of the two together, except I'll just probably put a little sticker of some sort announcing that it's started, and then I'll have to regrow a channel. New channel name, Chat with Lucretia, or Talk with Lucretia. Yeah, my little sister, she had spinal surgery a little over a week ago on her neck. She had 3 pieces that had broken, and she's done very well. 13 days ago. It was 13 days ago. Quit taking pain meds. Her and I both tolerate pain. I think, yeah. And Priscilla, wouldn't you say I should be able to handle a channel like this after having the mom we had? She was a tyrant. I miss her and I love her, and I know why she was a tyrant today. Unfortunately, I didn't always know it when I was a kid, but I know why she was a tyrant. So I will get that going. Hopefully, I will have that new channel going by next week, because I don't think it takes a lot to do, but I want the technicalities to be handled. I do need to answer. Do I need to answer? What was the about mom? Priscilla, she passed 32 years ago. She can't hear you. Yes, yeah. We both have Betty Jean's genes. Yes, we do. And that's, by the way, the name of my RV, Betty Jean. Our RV. Richard is part of my channel. He's just a silent partner, if you understand what that means. All right. So I'm going to let you guys go. I thank you for your participation. Only I'm not a tyrant. Oh my God. We both have been tyrants, Priscilla. I'm not talking about this stuff, but you and I both can be tyrants. You know that. We were bred for it. Everyone seems to be starting new channels. Why can't we talk here? Well, Cynthia, because what happened today, let me just nutshell it for you. There's a lot of people who do not like and will not participate in a channel that has any what even remotely seems like conflict. And a good example was today here on this channel. I was talking about things we need to be prepared with for travel, and I happen to mention that I have had the COVID vaccinations, and including the booster, and it's all Tell me about. Oh, Naj, that's a good idea too. That's a good idea too. Tell me about it, because that nails it right there. So there was a few people on here who have opposing beliefs and knowledge about it. You know, like one side has knowledge about it and another side has knowledge about it. And there was a big clash and people left. A lot of people left the chat, and that's all right. I did not get it stopped in time. I didn't clear it up. So that's why, is because there's to every issue out there today in our country and even worldwide in some cases, but I'm not going international in the chat. There are opinions, as many as there are people. And so, and guess what? Somebody may have some good ideas. Priscilla and I are different politically. Priscilla and I are different politically. And we used to have horrible fights. I mean, horrible, ugly fights. Really bad. We generally no longer do that to each other because we've lost two sisters to death. We lost an older sister, one sister 22, 23 years ago, and then our oldest sister died 5 years ago. And then a nephew who committed suicide. So we've lost people we love, and it can happen just like that. Our nephew was gone just like that. And our sister that died of brain aneurysms, just like that. So we don't want to lose each other. And I don't want to do that to another person. I love my sister. I have 3 sisters that are living still. And I'm different than everybody. Just to say, I'm politically different than everybody. And maybe someday on the other channel, we'll talk about that. And Priscilla and I can do a chat together, although she has to use an icon, an emoji, because she doesn't want to be seen. Honest to gosh, there's no reason for that. Oh, you don't want to watch it, Cynthia. Counterpoint and on point. Counterpoint and on point. Yeah. All right. So thank you guys for staying with me today, hanging out, listening, and for getting through the problems. And I will, at the very least, be back next Monday. And hopefully sometime in the next week or so, I will have the new channel laid out and up and going. And I will tell the people who are have the little bell ring, y'all who get notices that I go live, I will put on my community tab what I'm doing and give people the option to go there. So check my community tab next week, and there will be something there, most likely, about the new channel. All right, you guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I hope I didn't offend, I guess if I offended anybody, it's never my intention to offend or harm anybody. And I appreciate the feedback everybody gives me. All right. So thank you so much. And I will see you next week.